Hi, my name is James Shepard, and today I want to talk to you about how to sell traditional and cash discount processing. And so there's really kind of a big problem right now in the industry that comes from a misperception that both processors and managers have, and even salespeople that haven't been out in the field. And that is, most people are on one of two extremes right now. They either think cash discounting is evil, nobody likes it, it's never going to work, blah, 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 blah. Or they believe cash discounting is amazing. It's their answer to all their problems. Everybody loves it. You can sell it to anybody. Neither of those two things is true. In fact, neither of those things is even close to true. The reality is, when you actually get out in the field, you're going to find out that about 3 out of 4 merchants that you talk to, you're not going to sell them cash discounting. I don't care how good your pitch is. It doesn't matter. You're not going to sell them. Now, definitely geography matters. There are certain marketplaces where you could sell maybe 1 out of 3. There are other markets where you can sell maybe only 1 out of 10. And so there are certain business owners right now where no matter how good your pitch is, you're not going to sell them cash discounting. Okay. So does that mean you shouldn't pitch it? Well, no, because the problem is there's a sizable minority that is buying cash discounting. Anywhere from 30%, 10% to 30% are very interested in every market. And those accounts are so profitable that you want to get that, because otherwise your competitors are going to come in and they're going to sell cash discounting. But then we have this other problem, which is, okay, so James, what am I pitching? Am I pitching cash discounting? Well, if I pitch cash discounting, how do I backtrack and sell traditional processing, right? So I have a couple of thoughts I want to give you today that I think are very important in this evolution of selling cash discounting before everybody wants it, okay? So number one is start with a conversation. Start with a conversation. Your opening pitch should generate a conversation. I had a talk with a sales rep the other day, maybe a week ago, and we were talking about this issue. And when I heard his opening pitch went something like this. I don't remember exactly, but it basically was like, hey, introduced himself. We have a program that can save you 90% or more on your credit card processing. It's called cash discounting, and I'd love to talk to you about that. I think it wasn't even that. It was a yes or no question. What was it? At the end, it was, I know what it was. At the end, it was, are you interested in learning more about that? That's what it was. It was, are you interested in learning more about that? And so that sounds good, but it's actually not good. That's a terrible pitch, because you're ending with a yes or no question, which means somewhere between 70 to 90% of your prospects are going to say no, and then you're screwed. Now, what are you going to do? You're going to backtrack to traditional processing. They're already in a negative flow. You're not going to get them back. It's going to be very difficult. So instead, start with a conversation. So I would say it differently. I would say it something like this. Hi, my name is James Shepard, and we have a really unique program right now where we're able to save merchants up to 90% or even 100% on their processing. It's called cash discounting. I'm just curious, have you ever heard of it? Cash discounting, surcharging, where we're passing the cost onto the consumer. Have you heard about that at all? Totally different reaction to that pitch, because now, instead of it being a yes or no question of do you want to learn more or would you like to get started or whatever you're using, you're opening up a conversation. And that's what you really want to do. You want to have a conversation with them, okay? Now, once you start the conversation with them, make sure that you're giving them the pros and cons. That's also really important. See, when you're doing something, this is what I call option selling. Option selling means you have 2 different things you're selling people. And so the problem can be, if you use that, it could be a negative because it could be confusing because there's 2 totally different things you're selling. Or it could be a positive because you could get people to say either yes or yes. And that's what you want. You want to leave both pathways open throughout your pitch. You don't want to go in there and just totally close off traditional processing right off the bat. So start a conversation with them, right? Start talking with them. Don't be afraid to do the pros and cons of cash discounting if that's what you're pitching, and talk about it a little bit with them. But you definitely want to be pitching it. So I would recommend pitch the cash discounting, try to close the cash discounting, okay? However, the way I'd recommend closing it is when you get to the end of the process and you're like, all right, I want to give you some information about it so you can kind of see what the numbers actually look like for your business. Give them 2 proposals. This is the most important tip I can give you, is give them 2 proposals. If you go to instantquotetool.com, you can use that tool to do it. But you want to always give them 2 proposals, 1 for traditional processing, 1 for cash discounting. Now, there's 2 reasons why you want to do that. The first reason is that it's going to make it easier for you to close the deal, all right? You can say, all right, let me show you these 2 proposals here, Mr. Jones. So if you're on the Instant Quote tool, hit Compare Programs and choose the cash discounting one, do email to them and put their email address in and send it to them, then go to the other one, email that to them, and when you do that, go over it with them and show them, here's what you would save, here's the fees would be and all that. If you're doing traditional processing, then just, without the Instant Quote tool, then use a spreadsheet or whatever you're going to do. But give them both proposals. then what you do is you close them right on the spot by saying, let's take a look at these. And, my recommendation would be look at how much money you could save with cash discounting. Let's at least give that a shot. If it doesn't work out, you've already got your proposal. You know you're going to save money on traditional processing. So that's the close. The close includes traditional processing. And so you're giving them an either or. So you're like, I would highly recommend you try cash discounting because you're going to save so much more money. But that way, if things don't work out, if you have any issues with it, we can easily switch you back to traditional processing. And you've already got that pricing and that proposal in your hand. So worst case scenario, you're going to save money. But it's really up to you, Mr. Jones. Are you comfortable moving ahead with the cash discounting? Or would you rather just start our relationship with traditional processing and then maybe try cash discounting down the road? So that's a closing statement that's actually going to work because now you're giving them an option. It's either or. So now the 10 to 30% of people that are interested in cash discounting are going to say, yeah, let's give it a shot. And they feel more comfortable because they have that other proposal to switch to. The ones who are not comfortable, the 70 to 90%, they are looking at you like, oh, okay, so you're going to save me money. And, as cash discounting becomes more popular, they may want to go ahead and implement cash discounting, and they have that proposal from you. So either way, you want to present it like, here's both proposals. Which one do you want to move forward with? And again, no matter which choice they make, letting them know that they have a fallback. If they choose traditional, well, down the road, if you hear more about cash discounting, don't switch to another provider. You already know I do that, so let me know and I'll set you up. If they choose cash discounting, well, hey, if it doesn't work out, if you have any issues, you can switch back to traditional and you've already got a proposal. So that's a way to help you to sell cash discounting and traditional processing while we're evolving and more merchants are starting to accept cash discounting.